Welcome back to JB Reviews. I have this beautiful 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500. It is available, dually high country. And I'm going to show you guys my upfit against stock basically. Now, if you would like to buy this truck, be sure to reach out to these guys here. It is available, as I said. And if you would like to do an upfit like mine, I'm sure they can pretty much do the exact same thing that I did, and you can finance this too. So be sure to reach out to Keith, the sales manager. Let's get into the video. Now, as far as the front ends go, you can kind of see that my truck sits slightly higher, and that's because I did add a leveling kit. Now, one thing that's really cool about Chevys is you don't have to go the maximum height because it has the independent front suspension. So I'm probably about 2¼ inches taller, but you can clearly see that it's not just 2 inches, and that's because I did run a 37-inch tire. And of course, this truck does have reverse rake from the factory, so that's why you have to lift the front up a lot more than the rear. So with that being said, check out the height difference here. Yeah, there's a huge difference. You can pretty much tell with just the height difference and just how large the tires are. Now, if you're not familiar, these are Michelin tires, and I gotta say it, these tires ride amazing. LT 235/80/18, and I believe that these are 32 inches tall, 8 inches wide, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's go ahead and check out mine. Now, if you want to run a bigger tire, I will link a video at the end of this one. Be sure to subscribe and you'll kind of get an idea of fitment. But 37/12.5 is the tire size. I love the overall design. I think that dualies are such big trucks that it actually made the 37s look small. It really did. And I think that the overall stance is just so much nicer. I wish, man, I might have to change the angle. Like, the sun is not working with me today because of the shadows, but you can really see, just how much narrower, the tires are. So there it is on my side. And that's the stock. So you can really see that difference there. And even like the height wise, like, just check out just the overall height difference with just the tires, because it's about 4 to 5 inches of height increase. Now, as far as my wheels go, you pretty much can tell these are the factory wheels. I had them powder coated, and then I had the center caps painted, and then I had this piece wrapped a matte black, and then I just kept this chrome. And that was a really nice accent that JC Automotion had told me to do, and I think it came out perfectly. So if you are looking to potentially like get a 2024, these 18-inch wheels are an option for these trucks. Not only high country, but for the LTZ down, they are an option. So they come standard with a 17-inch wheel. I strongly recommend, if you're ordering a truck, get these wheels. Now, if you don't remember, my truck had chrome bumpers and grille. Now, these grille are just inserts. So you have these trim pieces that come off basically, and then the surround piece is actually black. So it's actually really easy to black out this grille, because most of it is kind of, well, not most of it. The trim pieces are chrome, but the trim piece that they sit on is basically black. And so I just had them repaint those trim pieces, and now this is the result. So it's basically the same grille, except for these trim pieces. They have a little bit more flair for the high country, but again, you can still paint those and they will come out pretty nice for the most part. I also did have them matte out the centerpiece here with some vinyl wrapping, and if you want, you could actually buy the trim pieces from Chevy, only because vinyl wrap probably only lasts like 3 years or so, depending on how you use your truck. If you park it in the garage and it's in there a lot, you might be able to get 5 years out of it, but for the most part, it lasts 3 years. So yeah, I like the high country better than the LTZ because, number one, LTZs do not have any option to paint bumpers. So if you want color match, you have to go to a high country. So these bumpers come standard paint, and I think that if I do it all over again, I would just go ahead and just go with the high country, so I could save that extra cost as opposed to, you know, painting the bumpers too. Now this trim piece here does come off, obviously, and you can actually get this trim piece from the factory blacked out too. However, one thing that JC Automotion did for me was they vinyl wrapped this trim piece in a gloss black. It matched the paint perfectly too. Like, you almost can't tell unless you walk up on it, but they were able to cut out Chevrolet on the front of this thing, and I really think it does like set it off like perfectly. Now if you get a midnight edition, Chevy just blacks out the entire trim piece, so it still looks good, but having that little accent right there, it just really pops perfectly. And I definitely would recommend, if you are in the area, check out JC Automotion, because they can do really cool trim pieces. Jade, the person there that actually did the wrapping for me, on the Ford Platinum, they have that big trim piece on the back of the tailgate, and they've been able to actually cut that out too, where it says Platinum. So it's really nice that you can actually have a nice accent. It's kind of like that small detail that really does pop on these trucks. Now off to the side, I did get the door handles painted, and then I had this vinyl wrapped, and I'll show it to you here in a second. I also had the mirrors vinyl wrapped. Same thing goes here. If you want to get the trim pieces from Chevy, I would recommend going that route, because vinyl wrap again is only going to last like 3 years. And then think about just wind, think about temperature change, all that stuff. Yeah, so you can pretty much have these replaced with the factory ones, and they will look just as good. But let me go ahead and show you guys my mirrors. But really quickly, actually, let me just show you the height difference too. Like, check that out. This is how you know this truck's lifted. And I would have brought my tape measure, but you know, I have 2 trucks unfortunately, so I always keep it in my center console, and I forgot to grab it before I left the house. So you can pretty much see that's at least 4 inches, at least 4 to 5 inches in that ballpark. But my mirrors are vinyl wrapped, as I said. Again, they match the truck so perfectly, you can't even tell that it's vinyl wrapped. So there it is. Look really good. And they went with a satin for the window trim piece here, because they felt like it matched better with the plastic. And when I saw them wrap it with the gloss, because I actually wanted this to be gloss, I didn't really like it, but I didn't say anything because I'd already said that's what I wanted. But they wound up just pulling it off, and it just looks so good. I think that if you're going to be doing anything like this, this is a satin black. And I actually was going to do the grille with this, but I think that the gloss black looks better. But check out the tires out back here. I think you can see the height difference a lot better back here. So again, 32 versus 37. Now these aren't true 37s. They just round off. So I think they're like a 36.8, 36.5, somewhere in there. And you can really see that difference of the tire height. And man, look how girthy. Oh my goodness. That looks so good. I wish that the sun was not shining so brightly, because you could really see it a lot better. Let me go out back and see if that's a little bit better for you guys. Oh yeah, before I do that though, here's the door handles. Great color match. Came out perfectly. And I decided for them not to paint this, because I know that paint would just rub off a lot easier. And they did add these like little scuff guards too for the doors. Now in case you didn't watch the last videos, I did go with the Cognito level. And like I said, if you want to go back, just look up level Chevy on my channel and it should pop up. And then here's just the vinyl in the sun a little bit better. Door handles. Like I said, you can't even tell that they were painted. They like match perfectly. And then the satin black around the windows here too. And as I said, this truck was not gonna last long. Someone's already here to take a look at it. So that's the back of the standard dually with the tires. And Girth Nation, guys. Girth Nation. But I hope you guys liked the video. Special shout out to Jerry Signer. If you are in the market, be sure to check on their inventory to see if the truck's still there. I think that Chevy has some of the best trucks right now. And these trucks are definitely quick on their feet with the new Gen 2 L5P. And if the truck does not sell, maybe I'll do a MPG run comparing it to mine. But if not, I already did a real world MPG run with my truck in its stock form, and when I have a chance to go back and do that same test on the same drive, I'll just basically show you guys that footage too. So yeah, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.